So this video has actually been a highly requested video by two people, not that many, but still a lot of people. And these are people, I knew this was going to happen. Hang on. Hello? Anyway, this has been a highly requested review by fans of my MCU reviews. I've gotten only 2 comments, but it is enough to really encourage me and give me that hope. And honestly, this does come as a shock to me because I never would have expected anyone to be a fan of anything that I did, to look forward to anything that I did on this channel. And before starting these MCU reviews, Marvel Cinematic Universe, before starting these reviews, I honestly expected them to fail. I didn't expect them to go anywhere. Because of previous reviews that I've done in the past leading up to Batman v Superman or the X-Men movies or Walking Dead Season 7, whatever. I've done this before and it's pretty much failed. It hasn't gotten to the point where I wanted them to get to, but I mean, they're great now, but this one, I'm just shocked and grateful at the response that I'm getting from my subscribers. I really want to thank you guys, and I just want you to know that there aren't that many of you. There aren't that many of you who are actually looking forward for my reviews and looking forward for my videos. So I just want you to know that there's not that many of you, and I do hold you close to my heart. You are very special. But without further ado, let's get into this review. I'm so excited because holy shit, this season blew my mind. Firstly, I love the huge plot twist about the Earth being destroyed and the team in that dystopian future. And it's a bold move. And I have to say that when this season started out and as it kept going, I just sat back and realized, holy crap, this is wildly different than any of the other previous Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seasons. Like, things have been steadily getting more and more chaotic and more crazy, but this season went all out, and I have to say, this is like, in my season 4 review for The Flash, I said that other shows like that show, or Walking Dead, or whatever, play risky games with their characters and stories, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is another show that does that, and they do it well. This season played a bold move in doing that. That is, I like that, and I was in it. It invested me. I loved it. Okay, so the one thing that I've never addressed in any of my previous Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews is how good the special and visual effects are. CGI, in other words. It is very convincing in a lot of ways that some movies just don't achieve, which is saying something. There are some movies out there that I look at and I think, wow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did it better. And this season steps it up in a lot of ways, as I said, but the visual effects is by far the most noticeable thing. And I only started to notice how good the visual effects were starting to get in Season 3 when we first saw Zephyr 1. And man, they have stepped everything up in this season. Now, 2 characters that I actually started off hating because of how they were introduced. First of all, Enoch. Is he a robot? An alien? A robot alien? No one really knows. I still don't know. I think, I don't know, he said he's made out of plastic, but he's not really a robot. I'm not entirely sure. But I liked him eventually. And Deke is a character that I had first thought was somehow related to Star-Lord because of the helmet that he was wearing, but he is in no means related to Star-Lord. Nearly said Star Wars. Guys, the 100th episode. If you know anything, or have read anything, or have heard anything about Doctor Strange 2, you know what this fucking 100th episode is tying into and setting up. I have never seen this before. A TV show setting up for a movie? Like, in the MCU? That is... I'm gonna get into it, and what it is the fear dimension. Setting up for Doctor Strange 2. Now, I do have an article here that I am going to quickly read. The 100th episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. saw Coulson's team face a terrifying new threat. It seems the destruction of 3 Kree monoliths has torn a hole in space-time, and now another dimension is leaking through into the real world. Worse still, this appears to be what Fitz calls a dimension of dreams, one where your worst nightmares become real. Meanwhile, comic book fans will most certainly be excited to hear mention of the Dimension of Dreams. This concept looks to be lifted straight from the comics. The idea of the Dimension of Dreams proved to be a popular one with readers, and 6 issues later, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko returned to the concept. Strange Tales, issue 116 saw Nightmare send his agents through dimensional rifts, ones that look very similar to the rifts seen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Years later, in 1991's Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme issue 31, writer Roy Thomas redefined the Dimension of Dreams as the Fear Dimension, which was ruled by a number of Fear Lords, including the character Nightmare. Given the next Marvel movie is Avengers Infinity War, it's appropriate that Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme issue 31 was a tie-in to whatever, we don't really need to read that. Moving on. Meanwhile, there's actually a good chance the Dimension of Dreams will ultimately turn up on the big screen. Director Scott Derrickson originally planned to introduce both the Dimension of Dreams and its ruler Nightmare in Doctor Strange, the sequel. He's repeatedly insisted he wants to use Nightmare in Doctor Strange 2 instead. In this matter, then, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has actually woven a subtle tie-in into the narrative before production on the film has even begun. Okay, so it looks like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is setting up for it. Pumped, I'm excited, I'm all on board, and I love that they are setting up for a Marvel movie that hasn't even begun production. It is a very exciting idea. And also the idea of a fear dimension. I love it. Can't wait for Doctor Strange 2. More excited for Doctor Strange 2 than any other Avengers sequel for some weird reason. Anyway, I apologize if this review is getting a little long, but I just want to quickly touch on a couple plot points or storylines that completely surprised me. They subverted any expectations that I might have had for the season before watching it, and I love them. I freaking love these ones. These are the two that when I'm going back and thinking about season 5, these always pop up. These two, along with the Earth being destroyed, and how could you forget that? But these are the other two that really stick out in my mind. Coulson's secret deal with Ghost Rider, that was actually sort of hinted at, or the secret deal was made in season 4. Didn't know what it was then. We know what it is now. I'm not going to spoil it for those who may not have seen this season. But damn, it got me. Also, who Deke, remember the character Deke that I mentioned before? Deke, who he may or may not be related to. Definitely not Star-Lord. Alright, guys. The review is coming to an end, but I have to say, goodbye to Fitz. Hold the pickle! Frozen Fitz is still out there in the universe somewhere. Hang on, pull it back. He's not actually dead, right? Okay, so, okay, this is really complicated, but they come back from the future. Fitz gets to the future, right, by being cryo-freezed. And then he eventually comes back through time travel. But that would mean that the one that came back and the one that is still in cryo-freeze exist in the same timeline. Right? And when I was watching it, I was thinking, like, I actually thought Fitz was dead, but then after like a couple of hours processing that, because it was so emotional, I realized, oh shit, there is a second Fitz out there, but he would have to stay there in order to get to the future so that he can bring them back. But that dystopian future no longer exists, so he doesn't need to get to that point in time. they can just go and find that Fitz, wake him up, and he's alive again. But honestly, kind of ruined his death a little bit when I realized it. But it's fine. The scene is still sad because you're still actually watching Fitz died. It kind of reminded me of Spider-Man dying because we know that we know both of them are gonna come back. Fitz is gonna come back because there's a second one of him out there. Spider-Man's gonna come back because of something called a contract. But that's pretty much it for me for season 5. I did love this season. I see why I had people asking me to review it, watch and review it. Thank you guys for encouraging me. I love your support. I love you guys. And to those who are fans and do like my content, and or love it, maybe, you are very special to me. But I will see you in, I think, my review for Luke Cage Season 2. Yes, I think so. Yes, Luke Cage Season 2. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp. See you then.